Hi, Xavier. Welcome to my Bonsai Retreat. Well, we're now firmly into spring, moving into the second month of it, and everything is out in leaf. Everything's looking healthy. In fact, this is probably the best spring I've had in 4 or 5 years in my Bonsai Retreat. So, with the sun pouring down on this side of my noggin, I thought I'd take my my camera and whiz you around the retreat, show you all the benches in place, show you what all the trees are doing, and perhaps give you a few cheeky updates of some projects that you probably won't see until the winter. Oh, and before we go any further, I finally invested in one of these sort of all singing, all dancing gimbals for my mobile phone, which is great, except I've discovered that my mobile is called an Android, whatever that means. So it's a little behind the technology, but hopefully it won't be too bad and too shaky. But for those I make seasick, apologies now.
I'm seasick already.
But don't worry too much if you get seasick. Take some tablets, and just to make it a bit easier on some of you, what I have done is intersperse some of the wandering with some looks at some of the individual trees, some of which you probably haven't seen, and they'll just have a little whirl around my my table. So, should we crack on then? Sun's out and it's a Saturday morning, and I've got my new gimbal and I really hate it. So that's the front as you enter in, and all the trees are looking pretty healthy and pretty good as far as I'm concerned. Clearly the silver birch has struggled a little bit. What you will notice though is that although I've done some pruning, which you'll see in a later video, we have got one very, very healthy branch just there. The Japanese Quince, as you know, I pruned them last year quite late. So that was with the knowledge that I'd be taking off the flowers, and as you can see, they're healthy, but no flowers. In fact, let's have a quick look at this Japanese Quince. I've got lots of new budding coming out, and there's a design starting to form. Not sure quite what it is, but it's healthy. Got a little bit of leaf wilt there, so there's obviously a bug sitting under there. So it's a big reminder we need to keep an eye out for things like that and get spraying. So so that's the Japanese Quince. Where were we in the garden? And equally, if we look further up there, one of the yews. It's doing okay, but there's a couple of branches on there that have died. I'll be removing the wires soon. And just looking at a couple of the trees that I don't normally show you here. We've got the red oak. And at this stage the leaves are the perfect size for bonsai, and this is probably the best and only time for enjoying red oak. My Japanese maple by the pond there with his little fisherman, looking very, very pleased with himself, and the tree itself is looking absolutely exceptional. That's going to need pruning, so you're going to see that very, very shortly. In terms of the Vesuvian Etruscan Satsuki Azalea construction that's been going on, the $50 challenge, well, there it is, and it got through the winter, so hopefully we'll have flowers this year. The construction of the lava rock on slate, that is looking fantastic with the two very, very different leaf colours. I think the bears are probably quite happy with that. I know I am. In fact, wait. Let's wind the tour back a bit, because I did fleetingly go over this Etruscan Vesuvian eruption type $50 challenge, which I did a couple of years ago. Nearly died, rebuilt it, and this is what we have. And there's a brilliant video showing the rebuild of this up there. But I thought, you're unlikely to see this, unless the flowers come out this year, you're unlikely to see this again this year. So just to show you, you know, bonsai is also a slow art, so I'm in no hurry to rush with it. I want this to continue to throw out the growth. I'm not worried about how long the lengths are in these branches, because what this is doing right now is developing good, strong roots. And we all know with good roots come good bonsai, generally, unless they get into my hands. So it's all very healthy, got through the winter beautifully, few weeds, keep on top of the weeds now, but generally very, very happy with how this has worked out. So glad I changed it, and so glad I took some advice from a few people, which again, big thank you to everyone. I do this channel not because I'm a bonsai expert, I'm close to a bonsai idiot. In fact, Bonsai Idiot, and there's a good channel. I'll put a link in the description. Not a lot of contact recently, but really, really good stuff from America. I've gone off on one again. Let's get back to the tour, shall we? And there I've got the Cotoneaster Cascade project. That's the one that I'm doing without wire, and to be fair, that's looking very, very healthy, and I might be doing some work on that quite soon. And then here, following up on the Cascade on the Chinese elm, so got to make sure I get the wire off that as well. Yep, I know. Time out. You couldn't really see that from that footage, so let's just have a little quick look. Probably not at the weeds, but this is the Chinese elm which you saw me construct some time ago. I did actually, on the advice of someone, increase the bend on this drop of the Cascade, and I've had a tensioning tie there just to keep it in. Looking closely, I actually need to get that wire off now, so that's going to be subject to something coming up. But also, so you can get a better look at that Cotoneaster. Now, this Cotoneaster has definitely been a surprise, because apart from putting it in this Cascade pot, I really haven't trained it in any other way. Last year you started seeing that I'd noticed, in fact we've got some flowers starting to come up now, so this is going to look really good soon. So I might hold off cutting some of the branches for a while. But this has got just such a natural clip and grow style. This has formed pretty well in its own right. Even that, I mean, it's got such a lovely drop. So if you like Cascade, you're definitely going to see more of this in a future video. So another good reason to hit notifications or to subscribe. Anyway, let's get back on the tour, shall we? And just to prove that my Japanese larch mountain with the 2 additional trees is still looking very, very healthy, and Mr. Wolf appears to be very, very happy where he is sitting there. Probably the only thing I do need to do is to sort out that cave area there and try and level it out and make it look just a little bit more natural. And goes without saying that my first ever air layer, which is a common prunus, taken off a tree back in 2015. Not the greatest example of a bonsai, but fantastic flowering. That's just coming to an end now. We've got the Korean hornbeam, a couple of larches. There's some apples there. The apples are looking a lot better this year. And sage. And then Lucinda larch, which featured in a really, really early video where I did a spring fashion show. The oak forest in that beautiful, beautiful pot. Well, I would imagine that is still looking very, very fresh and vibrant and alive, and all the moss is holding very, very well. So I just need to wait, really, for those leaves to come out and get some development. Down the back here, this is normally where I put a lot of my project trees that I've still got to keep an eye on and make sure the birds don't try and rip them to pieces and dig them all up. So there's quite a lot of stuff there. Everything from Ginkgo, Larch, Trident, Maple. Good time for a timeout, I think. Well, there's actually quite a lot of stuff that you just don't see. And you know, I've got well over 700 trees in various formats, very few of them bonsai. But I'm constantly sort of mucking about with sort of little starter stuff. I've got this hornbeam, bought a whole batch of them in 2015. And often I'll just let them grow, run amok, and then I'll come back and try and sort out what problems there are with them. So I thought I'd give you a little look at these. There's something like this. I'm still not entirely sure which direction I'm going with it, but it's got some lovely movement down here. It's got some even better wire scarring here. So what I'm hoping is, looking at it from this way, you've got a little branch here, little branch here. I'll actually be able to cut this off. So, these are all longer term, but this is the sort of stuff I'm trying to develop myself as sort of show-in work. And, 2015, what are we, 9 years? Takes time. But there's some good stuff that you will hopefully be seeing in the retreat. And I'm the first one who puts my hands up and say, I guarantee loads of you out there have got projects very, very much like this. And this is what makes this hobby so much fun, is trying to turn something that's very, very ordinary into something that's just very ordinary. And I'm good at that. Silver birch, the leaves are nice and small right now. I'm thinking it's going to go literati. We've got this very, very, there's a little bit of movement in there. Or it may be that I just take this whole top off. But whatever, it's a long way. I probably might even take that off actually. Long way to go, but so much fun. And hopefully I'll share some of these, the journey of some of these next year if I do more videos. But at the moment I'm trying to slow down, as you probably noticed. But yeah, so I've got loads of stuff like this. And again, I say, if anyone happens to be passing Grantham on the A1, make sure, give me a phone call, at least give me 10 minutes notice so that I can get out of my pyjamas and actually look like I'm an adult, and pop by and I'll bore you senseless for a good 2 hours. So that's a genuine offer. So you just need to be running up the A1 somewhere near Grantham. I'm 5 minutes away. Anyway, let's go back to the tour, shall we? And we've also got this, and I call it this because it's been growing in my nursery bed for many years, and you've seen it in several videos, but as usual I've forgotten what it's called, so I'm sure the name's flashing up right now. We've got another root on rock Chinese elm beside it, which is one you haven't seen, and also the holly, which hopefully is going to feature as an air layer experiment. Who knows? And just to prove, still got quite a lot of soil left over. The pumice and zeolite from our stash from Poland, so that should take me through next year hopefully. And again, trying to concentrate on trees that you haven't seen. There's a Scots pine there that I'm working on, but also there's a Hawthorn Stump that really left it alone last year because it got hit with that red cedar rust. But yeah, I'll be needing to do some pruning on that, so you'll probably see that this year. This end of the bench, bit of licorice all sorts. We've got hornbeam, got a couple of Satsuki azaleas. This oak here, which I think is actually going to be pretty impressive, it's got a very, very odd goat's foot root system there. So yeah, but I like playing with the oaks. And here, Italian alder, root on rock project. I know you haven't seen that. And beside it is the moss that's been absolutely torn apart off my silver birch. That lasted the grand total of 2 weeks. There you go, and that's why I never moss anything. Just here to the right there, you've got a Japanese larch. That's going to be a year in the life video. And there are the 3 olives. Now, they're not showing the most incredible growth, although if you look closer on one of them, one here is definitely showing signs of leaf push now, certainly on the left hand side, but they just need some sun, I think, to be fair. And then really just to give you a perspective of the garden, I mean, you've got this bench just down here which has got all sorts of junipers and larches, bits and pieces that have been pruned. And then you have to look further down where you've got Tony's place showing off to the left of the greenhouse with more larches in front, the new covered area at the back there. I've even done the grass, got the railway bench, so you've got the railway planting. And then just down below here you've got the much improved working nursery. I put in a load of the Amadori trees back in on slates there, and again you'll see that in a year in the life of project, and then various things there that just got to continue to develop. We come down the stairs, we've still got all my roots on rock projects, the Trident maple and the Chinese elm. Before we delve further into the garden, and I know you just had a glimpse of the all the roots on rock projects. In fact, that is going to be subject to a video very, very soon as I sort them out. Those of you who have been long-term subscribers will remember that my wife Zita, God rest her soul, had this apple from a pip, and this tree is subjected to probably 2, maybe 3 videos, and it's all about how I've developed it from quite an ailing shrub into hopefully a one-day bonsai in memory of her. So I thought I'd just give you a quick spin of it, because I'm not sure that it's going to feature in anything this year, but those who remember, I took some branches out up here, and again there's a video about that, and I did keep saying to her that, you know, these things are going to keep growing, and it is. I'm still having lots of trouble with the woolly aphids. Just had a treatment now, and even as I spin it round, I can see within the space for a week I've got more woolly aphids going. So I'm going to keep this somewhere where I can keep an eye on it. But there it is. It's looking pretty good, and I just need to let it keep growing. I'm going to let it grow quite a long way out this year. Just make sure that I don't create any areas where we might actually create any unwanted inverse taper. But really, I just want this to grow a lot of strength. I want the roots to really, really regain a lot more vigor. Still not in its best form, and the only way you can do that, just let it grow. So this is Zita's apple. It's had me worried a few times, but yeah, I think we're looking all right. let's head back into the garden, shall we? And just panning slowly around so I don't get too seasick. We've got the rest of the stuff there in the nursery area. On that back wall, as you can see, we've got everything from larch, hornbeam, hazel, silver birch, Italian alder, and the closer view of Tony's place. We've got all my development stuff there, but you can obviously see you've got the triple chunk, Zelkova, silver birches, larch, and Scots pine. Here, just more larches, everything from a larch from on the far left there, which was a starter plant back in 2002. The other one that's 3 in, that's also 2002, and the rest of them were worked on from 2015. And of the oaks there, again, I've got a good selection there that have all been repotted, but there's one there that I want to bring to your attention. It's that one there. There's still some work to be done on it. Really like that one. The railway bed nursery side of things, that's pretty well got most of the, again, more cuttings and things that I just haven't got around to looking at. A lot of that stuff is in pond baskets now, all the maples, which again is a project you're going to see probably near the end of the year about, you know, what are the benefits of putting stuff into pond baskets and does it really work? I'm sure some of you will remember that there's been an ongoing thing where my kids have been trying to learn bonsai, and they've got these Cotoneasters which they've been working on in a number of previous episodes. So if you want to see how they've developed from cuttings to where they are now, then go back and look through the playlist. As you can see, the maples there, they're all in such lovely leaf. Really happy with how they are all looking. Just see the various seedlings which are now a year, 2 years old. Side of the greenhouse, various things there. Again, we've got some more maples that are on slates. All the Chinese elms, you saw them in an earlier video. Well, they're all starting to bud out nicely, but in fact, let's go in close on a couple, shall we? That is the multitude of growth that you get on a Chinese elm when you take absolutely everything off. I'm 100% confident that you can do that operation successfully if it's healthy. And it's amazing to think that that in itself was just a cutting a few years ago, probably 5 years now. Those of you who remember, I did my first ever Tanuki on this cork bark elm. That's now got loads and loads of growth, so I'll just continue to let that grow. In fact, you can't see that, so let's have a close look, because again, this one may not feature this year. This one is just going to basically spend a year growing. I need these branches to really grow out, but I think the key thing here is all the ties have come off, and all around here you can start seeing where it's actually bonded in. And about the only thing, I mean, I've got 2 lovely branches growing here. I've now got new stuff coming out here, so I'm going to be able to create a really good tree on this. You know, the main cork bark aspect of this Tanuki is still firmly intact. And if you look down the middle, there's a really solid core there. So I'm quite hopeful that that's going to hang together for quite some time yet. I think you can probably see down here, we've definitely got the first signs of the fusion of some sort. I mean, it won't be live fusion, but that swelling there is quite tight. Still a bit of gap there, but there's no movement at all in this. Under there, it's very tight. And about the only thing I've done is just put a little bit of loose wire here, because all I'm trying to do is to keep this vaguely in an upright thing. I might need to keep adjusting that. But yeah, really happy with how that's looking. My first Tanuki. And as you'd expect in this garden, there is always loads and loads of cuttings that I just haven't even got near. There's all sorts there, from Fuji cherry, Trident maple, Chinese elms, Italian alder. Goodness, the list just goes on. This is the first proper look at Susan Sanctum. We've got obviously the Japanese white pine behind it, the Dawn redwoods. We've got a couple of box and privet on there as well, so that's looking lovely. And then if we look at Nellie's Nook, which is this centre one there, we've got the Mugo pine doing very well. We've got more maple, privet, box, and at the back there there's juniper. Just to prove, for those of you who wondered how the Mugos are getting on, we've got some beautiful candle development. So, you know, I'm hopeful with a lot of feed, the 2 Mugos are going to do really well. Then we've also got, well, you've seen, they were the 2 of the Japanese maple air layers. They're now fully in leaf and look glorious. All sorts on there, including Trident maple, Japanese larch, Chinese elm, box, and yeah, that hornbeam there, which we'll be to see how that works out. And then on the JC Gems Jewels bench, well, that's pretty well got all the maples. Got that great big Katsura right in front there with the massive amount of deadwood on it. And I thought, while we're looking at the maples, let's go back and have a return visit to this Atropurpureum, which you know I hate, and I did some major work on. Had some different suggestions from people, which you will see in a later video. I'll probably leave this for this year, and that'll be something to feature next year. But you know, this is how it is. It's healthy, although we have got a little bit of dieback happening in some of the leaves at the top, which are the additional shoots. So again, problematic. And I think someone did make a suggestion. In fact, I think a number of people made a suggestion. Why don't I put it into a great big planter or back into the ground and just grow it as a tree? And that may well be the final solution. Get rid of that there. Don't know if you can see, but under there's a little bud there, so that's good. And in a few places we have got signs of little buds. There's a little one potentially going to be there. It's slow, but you know what, just maybe even here, under here, there's a little bud there. So you know, it's healthy, it wants to live, and in my garden that's a positive. This is what I was talking about with some of the leaves that are exhibiting this. In fact, that looks like that's insect related of some sort, probably, because it's all sticky, so there's probably bugs in there somewhere. I need to give this a spray. But yep, something to watch out for on your maples. So let's get back to the tour, shall we? We look at this on the left there, we've got a lovely Katsura maple that's desperately in need of pruning, along with the little forest maple there. Let's say that was made in 2022, one of the earliest videos I had. Again, I love the contrast in the leaves on those two. And we've got this Katsura air layer. Again, that was thanks to the advice of Yellow of Growing Bonsai, and I got two really good air layers off that. That's actually, as I say, going to be the Cascade, but at the moment it's horizontal, as you can see. And there's the second, and that's going to be a little bit of a clump style. If you watch the video, you'll know that I accidentally removed a pretty key branch to that, which is a shame.
You have no brains, no ability, nothing!
Back to Nellie's Nook, we've got this little box forest in a pot by my favourite, Dawn Isaac, Dye Ceramics. Oh, let's slow down again. Also found on Tree Gear Curiosities bench is this, which actually is Ligustrum, which I discovered. I think anyone who watched the video last year is also privet. So yeah, so some Ligustrum here. I've got two of these, and I think I showed you the work I did on this in one of my videos, but I've got lots of new growth coming on. This is the first year I've actually seen that, so obviously the work I finally got around to doing last year has had a benefit. But you know, this is really looking good as a fused triple chunk. Why do I keep saying triple chunk? A triple chunk. And as I'm going to let this all grow out, and then probably in 3 or 4 weeks may well prune back. I want to keep it dense, and I don't want it to be much higher than this. But yeah, again, picked it up for a couple of pounds in the local garden centre. It was dead and dying, and bringing it here, well, at least it's not dead and dying anymore, and I think that's got a lot of potential for a great bonsai. Do you want to go back to the garden tour now? We've also got one of the ginkgos there. Again, that's going to be subject to a later pruning program, but that's still looking very good. And a little larch beside it. And on Susan Sanctum, you've definitely got one of the big Dawn redwoods, one of my most popular videos. Some people are less happy about those extending roots, but I just love that, so that's going to stay like that. Did I mention I've actually got a few Trident maples? I'm sure I did, but this is one of my best and has been developed a lot by me, believe it or not. And this has spent some time in a ground bed. It's loving the joys in the Bonsai Retreat. Yeah, I'll shortly be pruning things like this right back. I think one of the things I did say in my video is I actually pruned this earlier, leaving 2 or 3 buds further on, in this case more, knowing that what I was actually going to be doing was letting all the energy go into this growth, with the desire that when I come into end of May, I'll be cutting all the way back to here, where there's buds down here, and that's the growth that I want. Again here, I wanted those buds, but let these ones grow, and I'll probably go back to these, cut right back to here. And same here. I've let this grow out, take all the initial energy. What I actually want is that set of buds there. So that's where I'll be pruning back to. But you'll see that in another video. Just looking further into Tony's place, as I say, this is a lot of my development. On the right hand side, you've got hundreds of Chinese elm cuttings, dawn redwood cuttings, which are all growing away. And on the left hand side, various projects like those dwarf azaleas, which I haven't even got near. I bought them last year. There's about a dozen in there. Lovely flowers, but haven't got near them. Just to prove that his field maple still alive, silver birch behind it. There's the ground layer type thing I'm trying on that Japanese larch. Even a little spoiler sneak preview of a little Ebihara style clump project I've got going on. Very, very interesting. I think that's silver birch and Japanese maple there. For those of you who are a little bit concerned about all the branches I removed from the hawthorn, on Tony's hawthorn, the ones I want are now growing nicely and I can set them up exactly how I want them. So glad I did it. Just down, there's various parts of the garden where I've got, you know, hardwood cuttings going on. There's some crab apples in a bucket. There's loads of stuff, and hopefully I've given you a little bit of a flavour on this tour. Just to prove not everything works, in fact lots of stuff doesn't work. Right there I was really ecstatic because I thought the hardwood cuttings I'd taken of Fuji cherry were going to be a roaring success. In fact, if you ever look back at some footage last year. So we're a month further on now. The maple hardwood cuttings, definitely, we've got about 70% of those are still showing lovely green growth. I'm feeling very confident now. English elm, probably out of that batch, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 of roots by the look of it. The hornbeam, I think you can clearly see there, probably about 60% of them still continue to show growth. The Fuji cherry, you know, why bother doing cuttings? There's some lovely, look at the size of some of those stems on there, pencil thickness. No effort at all, and I've got, again, I've probably got at least 60% success there. Well, both the Fujis and also here, I was really hopeful that that hawthorn was also going to make it. Well, alas, no. But some of the other projects that are doing well, that's a Fuji cherry on rock. So loads and loads of growth this year. It has been really great for growth. So we'll be having a look at that probably in a couple of weeks' time. Times when I really don't know what to do with things. These were the hawthorns. I think last year all of them got hit by the red rust, and I literally stump cut them to about 2 inches. Loads and loads of growth off the top, so we might get some nice little show-in or mame brooms.
The broom.
Coming back up the garden, I've got this Katsura Japanese maple I picked up for £3 back in 2015 in a nursery centre. Looked very sorry for itself, but someone's advice was to try and straighten that up a little bit and maybe consider going more and more of the literati on it. So that's going to get done a little later on as well. All I have got left to do really on the benches are the flowering azalea, which I'm going to be doing some repots on soon because I want them in bigger pots and I want them to give them a year or two to regain some vigour because they're not looking so great. And finally, really for this tour, there's the pots that still haven't been washed, cleaned, and hopefully if we get some warmer weather, because right now it's 3, I'll get them all cleaned up and sorted. There's also a load hiding down there and down there. In fact, there's pots everywhere. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that little tour around the retreat. Again, big apology for the stutter motion using the new gimbal, the DJI something 6. It's supposed to be really good, but bottom line is, I don't think my camera's up to it. So you won't be seeing too much of that footage yet, but anyone's got any ideas on how to make that better, please let me know. All I've got to do now is start looking at getting rid of the flowers and repots on my flowering Azalea bonsai, and start getting worked up for all the spring post-flush hardened pruning which is going to start taking place. Oh, but before that you're going to see a load of roots on rock work. But from Xavier, I really hope you've enjoyed this spring tour of the Bonsai Garden. You've got to see a couple of updates, and you've seen up close a few trees that maybe you haven't seen before, or you wanted to know how they were getting on. So if you like this, big thumbs up please. If you think anyone else might enjoy it, then you know what does my videos the best help is if you share them on other social media platforms. It really does help me a lot. Otherwise, hit bell notifications if you want to see more of this content, and subscribe if you wish to do so. But otherwise, enjoy spring. We've got summer coming soon, and apparently the UK is heading into blistering is the word they use, temperatures of 22 degrees, which...
All you need is a light jacket.
I'm not sure if you know, but that's pretty normal for this time of the year. I'm not sure blistering is the right word, but hey, maybe they're trying to put some ideas in our head. Won't go there. All the best. Happy bonsaiing. God bless. Cheers.